What if I told you I woke up to a message that flips the board on its head? A short line from someone I trust inside the building that simply read, Plan B starts now? What if the question tonight isn't whether Detroit's secondary can hold, but how quickly we can rewire coverages without losing our identity? And what if the name that sets off this chain reaction is the one rookie who brought teeth, swagger, and timing to our perimeter? Stay with me because I'm about to walk you through the moves, the money, the matchups, and the why behind the decisions that will define our November and our January. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report, where I keep it straight and keep it moving. If you love substance more than slogans, do me a favor, tap subscribe and drop a like so this community keeps growing. I'm going to give you the full read, internal options, scheme tweaks, market scan, and the realistic timeline that the staff is operating on right now. Let's talk context, because context is everything. Over the last couple of weeks, Detroit's pass defense faced the classic NFL riddle: when your coverage room gets thin. Do you go hunting on the trade market, or do you insulate the problem with scheme and a veteran stopgap? Fans wanted instant action. The first rumor wave pointed at Cleveland, and the popular name was Greg Newsome too. That window closed, he's off the board elsewhere, and with that, one path narrowed. But the message inside Allen Park wasn't panic. It was recalibration. Recalibration looks like this. First, you map the roles that can bend without breaking the core. This defense under Aaron Glenn has lived on attitude and man principles, but it's never been stubborn to the point of self-harm. Expect more quarters match on early downs to keep a lid on explosives. More late rotation from the safeties to muddy picture for quarterbacks. And selective pressure packages simulated. Creepers that create one-on-one wins for Aiden Hutchinson without asking the corners to survive 5 seconds on an island. That's not a personality transplant. It's a measured adjustment to buy time.second. You audit the room. Who can handle more snaps without a drop-off in technique? Who communicates pre-snap checks cleanly? Who can survive on the boundary when the route distribution stacks verticals? That audit points you to veterans who can play within the call sheet on day one, which is why one name keeps coming back in every responsible scenario I've heard: Stephon Gilmore. At 35, he's not the apex version that terrorized receivers a few years back, but durability and baseline play still matter in October and November. He started 15 games last season, logged roughly 87% of his defensive snaps, and posted a mid-60s overall grade in charting services. Nothing that breaks the model, everything that stabilizes it. If you're trying to ride the storm until your room is healthy, that's a profile you can lean on. Third, you set the price and the structure. The kind of in-season help Detroit needs demands a contract that respects the cap and the locker room. Think rest-of-year base with play time and playoff escalation, not a multi-year anchor that blocks your young talent when they return. That's how you make a veteran addition without creating a January headache. Now, I know what you're asking. If the trade door shut on Newsome, what about the other names floating around? Kendall Fuller, Asante Samuel Jr., James Bradbury? 2 buckets. Bucket 1 is trade capital plus the right scheme fit right now. Bucket 2 is free agent availability plus readiness to contribute in 7 to 10 days. Real talk. It's rare to pull a true difference maker midseason and have him master your calls overnight. That's why the front office is prioritizing clean entry guys, players who can walk in, align right, pass off routes, and tackle on the perimeter without mental bust. There's also the in-house lever, micro role adjustments that squeeze more out of what you have while you paper the gap. Expect a bit more help to the boundary via inside leverage technique and safety overlap on specific down and distance. And don't be shocked if we see a handful of match press looks. Convert to bail to discourage the deep shot when protection holds. On third and got to have it, you'll still see Glenn's DNA pressure disguise, late green dog triggers, and traps underneath to bait throws into robber help. The point is to play the percentages while your corner depth stabilizes. Here as to the heartbeat of tonight's show, the Reason the plan flipped from nice to have to we need it now. The staff is preparing to play a stretch without Terry and Arnold. That's the truth of the moment. It's not a season obituary, and the building does not believe it's the worst-case scenario. The expectation remains that he returns this year. But for right now, the defense has to function as if its most instinctive young outside corner is out of the rotation. And that forces strategic choices in real time. I've said it since camp. Arnold isn't just another athlete. He's a timing player. He wins early with hands, he wins late with eyes, and he changes which throws opposing coordinators like on first down. When you remove that from the perimeter, everything shifts by inches. Safeties shade a hair wider, nickel support arrives a step sooner, and your pass rush has to shave half a second off to match the new math. This is why Detroit's response can't be hopeful. It has to be structural. So here's the structural answer I would execute if I'm sitting in that room. Short term, you sign the veteran who gives you alignment certainty and tackle reliability on day one. For me, that's Gilmore, with incentives attached. You roll out a slightly heavier diet of zone match on early downs to protect the boundary and keep top-down integrity. Then you unleash man pressure menu selectively when the pass rush is cooking and the sticks favor you. You expand the rotation to keep legs fresh, nothing blows cover like fatigue. And you lean on your pass rush games to move the quarterback off his spot. Because bad feet make average coverage look great. Medium term, you preserve your draft capital. I don't want to give up a pick that belongs to a premium position in April for a marginal upgrade in late October. That only happens if the trade is a clear plus for 2 playoff games in January. And those deals almost never exist the way fans imagine. Protect your future, buy competence now, and keep the room coherent for when Arnold is back. Long term, this mini-crisis is also a stress test for the identity of the defense. Can we remain an aggressive outfit that takes the ball away, or do we morph into a bend-don't-break unit while we wait? I'm not interested in soft shells that concede 6 yards on first down all night. The sweet spot is calculated aggression, disguise, squeeze windows, and rally. You can still be nasty without being reckless. Let me also be clear about the psychology here, because it matters in Detroit. Dan Campbell's message won't be survive. It'll be hunt smarter. That means the same tone you hear at the podium gets translated into the call sheet. We play fast. We tackle, we communicate, and we make the quarterback hold it. If the offense does its part sustaining drives, owning the middle 8, you don't put your patched-up perimeter in 70-snap marathons. Complementary football isn't a cliché this month. It's the lifeline. There's a cap angle tucked into all this, and it's not minor. A rest-of-season veteran corner on a reasonable number preserves flexibility for a late-season elevation elsewhere, think depth on the edge, or special teams insurance if injuries stack. Brad Holmes has been disciplined about not paying desperation taxes. That discipline is why this team can add help without remortgaging the future. Don't confuse quiet with passive. Quiet can be precise. That's why tackling becomes non-negotiable on the perimeter. 5-yard throws can't turn into 25-yard runs because a veteran missed the angle. If Gilmore is the choice, his biggest value might be that simple he gets the guy on the ground. Down after down, while your rush finishes the math. And yes, I hear the optimism out there about practice squad promotions or a younger flyer with traits. There's a place for that. But the smart play is stabilizing the floor first, then letting a developmental piece earn snaps on clear terms. If the room is asking for a grown-up, you give it a grown-up. That's how January teams operate. I want to hear you on this before I close. Do you prioritize a veteran signing like Stephen Gilmore on a clean, incentive-driven deal, or would you rather swing a late pick for a younger corner with club control? Where do you land on the scheme pivot more zone match to steady the ship, or stay heavier in man and live with the variance until Terrian returns? Drop your take below. I read everything, and this community's football IQ genuinely helped shape the next episodes. Here's my concise read. The headline tonight isn't panic, it's planning. Terry and Arnold being out for a stretch forces Detroit to tighten the screws across the board. And the most rational path is a short-term veteran who lets Aaron Glenn keep his teeth without exposing the boundary. Gilmore fits the brief. The cap structure can be clean, and the scheme adjustments are already on the whiteboard. Protect your picks, stabilize your perimeter, and prepare the runway for Arnold's return. That's how you keep January on schedule. If this breakdown added value, make sure you're subscribed to Lions News Fan Report and ring the bell. I'll be here with fast updates and deep dives so you don't miss a beat roster moves, snap count reads, and how each tweak shows up on Sundays. Let's be the best informed Lions community on YouTube.